Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I'm at the Academy's Margaret Herrick Library with archivist Megan. How are you?
So well, how are you?
We're having the best day. We're shooting videos all day long about parts of your guys' incredible collection. We have Gladiator here.
We have Gladiator.
Is this from a specific donated collection?
It is. This all comes from the collection of Arthur Max, who is a production designer and longtime collaborator with Ridley Scott.
An unbelievable production designer, and this is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Mine as well, exactly. I'm so excited to share this with you. Perhaps we can start with some concept drawings.
Yeah.
So, I think today we'll focus on the construction of the Colosseum, but I couldn't skip over. So these are by Sylvain Desprez, and designs for Janty Yates and the armorer, and we just have these incredible design renderings.
I believe Sylvain also did one of my favorite There it is!
There it is.
Oh, the Tigress of Gaul helmet. This is one of my favorite pieces in the whole movie. Dude, that is amazing. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
Our purview.
So then what I think is particularly special about these holdings is getting to see from start to finish the concept, design, and execution in creating the Colosseum.
Because they couldn't build the full Colosseum.
Exactly.
So they had to figure out how much they needed to build.
There you go. The first time that I really got to dig into this collection was in September of 2022. Arthur Max actually reached out to the library when they greenlit Gladiator 2, wanted to come back to review his own collection, and I worked with him to catalog and digitize all of his holdings related to the construction of the Colosseum so that they could progress with the sequel.
Oh my gosh, so you got to walk through each piece with him and sort of hear how it plays out.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly. And it was just such an incredible privilege, but also I think speaks to the value of the library. We are a resource for filmmakers and creators, active or otherwise. That's what we're here for.
Well, it's amazing that someone with such a storied career as Arthur Max gets to have a place for what he's collected throughout his career. That's in and of itself marvelous. But then that he actually can benefit from you guys holding on to that and move on to other projects. So where do we start with the construction of the Colosseum? I noticed these books that sort of walk you through where this is part of the production familiarizing itself with the Colosseum?
Exactly. This is Arthur Max and the production design team. These are just samplings of these binders and research materials that they gathered detailing everything related to architecture, construction, not only for Rome, but for Germania, all of the North African sets.
Right.
But what I love is as historically accurate as they are and prepare for, when we get into the concept drawings, like for example, this is one drawing by Arthur Max, and we have both the original and a photocopy, but I love to share the photocopy because he has annotated it as Ridley's Rome. And you can just see from the beginning that they were preparing for this Rome of outsized imagination, that scale and perception were all going to be dramatized to fit the narrative.
Amazing.
And then a few more too, just to go through from Sylvain here, if you want to dig into these. And again, he has such a signature style, but really started to conceptualize what this outsized Colosseum would look like.
So the thing that really surprises me about looking at this is in the film, where sunlight is in the Colosseum really matters narratively, but it didn't occur to me that they would be working out that sunlight architecturally. Because whatever they build has to be able to do it. And this is incredible that they were already thinking about how the sun would fall through this giant building that they don't actually have.
And what's incredible too is, so we're talking, starting in 98. So really we have both hand-drawn material, but then early computer renderings. You can see the 3D modeling that they're preparing for. So to your point exactly, we have these kind of
so this is a full digital rendering.
Exactly. So
with light in, oh, wow. So then they're figuring out where the sun was at that time.
Yes, too. And there is one spectacular one. Yes, this one.
Oh my gosh, Shadows January PM.
So they've
really, really thinking through every day that this is happening and what the light is like.
Exactly. And so in addition to these renderings, and we also then have early specs because we can see how they were built, the Colosseum, only in partial.
Right. So they're building, about half of the oval.
Exactly.
Give or take. And then they can make this fill out for the rest. But they've drawn a full, complete drawing of every bit of topographical detail.
Exactly. So we have all the digital renderings, and then for the practical set, and we even have, let me pull this over. So for the location in Malta, we can then see
Maximus 10, Imperial Palace. This is hilarious. They're all next to each other. Oh my goodness. The filmmakers have to become architectural historians, textile historians, weather historians, right?
Well, for this project, and then you move on to Prometheus or The Martian, and then you're consulting with NASA on the latest, aeronautical advances. So it's just...
I am so glad that you guys are in the detritus stream of all that creation. So when a collection comes in like this, I'm assuming there's a set of protocols for the museum ingesting a collection. Walk me through that process.
Sure. Well, collections come in every form, from well-organized to organized in trash bags. So it really runs the gamut. What we do as archivists initially receiving the material, we will just start sorting. And we catalog by film title. So we create a hierarchy based on an alphabetical order for film titles. So with Arthur's papers, for example, we start with, I believe, Black Hawk Down, or maybe American Gangster, A before B. But then so speaking specifically to graphic arts, then we just, in trying to, I guess, honor what we call original order. So trying to replicate as best we understand these materials were created and the order they were created.
Amazing.
So that is also then keeping like with like. So of course, so much of it comes down to size. So architectural drawings, a thing unto themselves, as with posters. But for this type of material, we will have kind of two considerations. One, what's best for the researcher in organizing these materials from a point of access, and then from a preservation perspective, what is going to lend itself best to housing these materials safely.
Right.
So often with material like this, these are all interleaved with tissue. Drawings, boards are all kept separately. Anything that's abrasive or what we call friable material, so pastels and the like, we have to consider the medium for each individual piece to make sure that we are storing these in the safest way possible.
I'm curious, when you talk about access to researchers, what does that start with? I'm curious about that, because researchers come in for all sorts of different reasons and wanting to see all sorts of different parts of collections.
Well, we endeavor to make everything accessible.
Right.
For graphic arts, of course, we do have limitations with size and fragility, which is why we try so hard to digitize everything. So even if we can't physically provide the material, it's still digitally accessible.
Right.
We also, as part of our cataloging, actually annotate both text descriptions and visual descriptions too. So trying to organize and catalog in such a way that if you went to the Academy Collection website, looked up a keyword for Colosseum, that all of these materials are going to come up, as well as other collections, other films. So that's the intention there. But then for researchers, the library is open to the public. Special collections material are all accessible with an appointment. So we have researchers come in, and we're talking scripts, photographs, production artworks. It's all made available.
Incredible. I'm curious if when Arthur came back to look through materials, did you learn more about the materials you were able to put in the archive's collection of stories?
Yes, such a good question. And we had, particularly with Gladiator, these gorgeous early concepts that were rendered in charcoal.
Yeah.
And so Arthur was able to tell a story of who actually illustrated them, how they were rendered, and recalling memories too, I think, of being in the art department, how these were created what Ridley's directions and incentives were. Yes, such a special experience.
It's amazing. These films, they produce so much in their wake, right? They produce everything that we can see on screen, but there's this long trail, and I'm so glad you guys provide a home for what has often been considered detritus, but is such an important part of film history. Dude, this is such an amazing collection.
I can't believe you stuck it out till the end. Well, now that you're here, let's talk about some of the cool stuff we have at adamsavage.com, our merch site. We make stuff for makers, and one of the most important tools a maker possesses is, of course, their laptop. That's why this year we are making 2 laptop sleeves, a large and a small, to protect your precious cargo. Like all of our products, they're made of upcycled materials, manufactured in the United States. And on each of these models, we have included a new feature, which is like my new favorite thing in the world, is this pencil holder with a rubber stamp of my name here. This is inspired by the NASA astronauts' name labels on the Apollo astronauts. And there's one on both sizes. Get yours today at adamsavage.com.